Andrew Scott has established himself as an electrifying screen presence, bringing a mischievous energy to roles as villainous Moriarty in Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, as a bad guy spy chief in the Bond film Spectre, and most recently, of course, as a priest and unlikely love interest in the Phoebe Waller-Bridge creation Fleabag. But his next big screen role takes him into new territory, playing a garbage collector in Steel Country, a murder mystery set in rural Pennsylvania. Andrew Scott plays Donald, a socially awkward loner who decides to investigate the apparently accidental death of a local child who's drowned in a river.
What are you, a reporter now?
No, I'm still in sanitation.
Yeah, I know you're in sanitation.
Yeah, okay, come on, we know each other 25 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so?
So?
What's going on?
There's nothing going on. The parents don't want to press no charges against the Hockenberry.
What's that got to do with nothing?
Because he drowned on the property.
No, his death. Why aren't you investigating his death?
And why are you asking me about this?
It's bothering me.
Why?
Everyone's saying he just wandered off. He didn't. Mrs. Ziegler told me.
Andrew, this is your first American role.
Yes.
Was that a challenge in any way?
It was. I mean, I've done a couple of American films. I was in a little tiny part in Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers and those kind of things. Yes, I did. I was the guy in green. I was the guy in green.
Dying on the beach.
Yeah, dying on the beach, yeah. I had a helmet on. You remember that extraordinary performance.
But seriously, you were in Saving Private Ryan?
I was, yeah, I was. I was about 20 years old, and they shot it on Curracloe Beach in Wexford in South Ireland.
Of course, yeah.
And but no, this has been my first sort of American independent film, I suppose, for want of a better word.
And you're in every single scene of this film, central performance, playing Donald, who he has autism of some sort. He's on the spectrum. That's not explicitly stated. But
no, it isn't explicitly stated. The film, I think, concerns a lot of people who are disenfranchised in America, and he's somebody who's deeply neglected. So I don't think he would have been diagnosed, certainly by the people in his life, not that there are many people in his life. So I was kind of reluctant myself to diagnose him. You know?
I think it's interesting you pick up on that idea of neglect, because he has been neglected, and neglect is a central theme in terms of the thriller at the heart of this film.
Yeah.
And yet it's played out in Pennsylvania. The steel mills have closed down. This is a whole area of America that has been neglected. That's the metaphor played large.
I think he has a sort of kinship. There's been a murder of a young boy who's neglected, and they seem to be, in this small town that he lives in, they seem to be neglecting the investigation into why that might have happened. And I think unconsciously, it's certainly unconscious. I don't think he feels it consciously, but I feel in whatever weird way his mind works, he feels a kinship with this boy, because I think it's got something to do with neglect. But he is called Donald, this guy, and he represents the lowest rung on the ladder in America. And it was really interesting. We filmed it in around the time when another Donald was coming to power, and it was fascinating we shot it in a small town called Griffin in Georgia, which, to be honest, is a very grim place. It's a very bleak place.
And we see the Trump and the Pence posters.
Absolutely,
this is election campaign.
It was in and around that time.
It was a couple of years ago that you shot this.
Yeah, it was a year and a half ago.
Year and a half ago. I mean, things move on very rapidly in the life of an actor. And obviously, in the week that we're talking about now, everybody is talking about the priest in Fleabag. Such a different role, playing the priest.
Yeah. It's extraordinary that the way these things happen, that it came out as a happy accident. I think that these two very different kind of characters are out at the same time.
Could you have foreseen when Phoebe Waller-Bridge approached you about that role that it would have had that kind of impact?
No, I absolutely didn't. I certainly knew that it was going to be magical. Sometimes it just happens. You have a sort of magic when you're making something. But no, I don't think we could have foreseen, unless we were incredibly arrogant, that it would have the effect that it has. And I think it's because I think Phoebe's great gift, apart from being incredibly playful and joyful, is that the idea that two things can exist at exactly the same time, so that it can be full of joy and also full of melancholy. It can be funny and it can be sad, and you can be vulnerable and also powerful. And so these characters are flawed characters, and like we all are, but we all look for love, and sometimes that's in the wrong places. And I think that's the relationship between the priest and Fleabag, but certainly, the familial relationships, the sister relationship is very beautiful too, and the father, but it's been mind-blowing, to be perfectly honest.
So you're a cool priest, are you?
A cool priest?
Yeah.
No, I'm a big reader with no friends. Are you a cool person?
Oh, I'm a pretty normal person.
A normal person?
Yeah, a normal person.
What makes you a normal person?
Well, I don't believe in God.
I love it when he does that.
And that central relationship it's very much about the sexual tension as well, isn't
yes,
it?
yeah.
How did that evolve on set? I mean, because it's something which is very believable and has to be believable,
Yeah.
because otherwise the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, it's a question of chemistry, really, genuinely. Phoebe and I did a play together 10 years ago, which is where we knew each other from, and I think it's very important in depicting a kind of romantic relationship like that you're very alive when they say action, and that's the most important thing. And Phoebe's wonderful about not just being overly concerned with completing the call sheet, but also bringing things alive on the moment.
Yeah.
We wanted to when we first spoke about it, to create a relationship where Fleabag has, to some degree, a match for her. So if she's a flawed heroine, then he also has to have his own flaws too. And I think that's, like most people that I've met anyway.
Absolutely. I think there are scenes which are going to live on in the public consciousness for a long time. I mean, not least the speech that your priest had to give at the wedding, which is really just quite an astonishing piece of writing.
Absolutely, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful writing. And just so true that those things,
Love is awful.
that it's all that we ever want, and it's hell when you get there. That the pain and the damage, and you do become obsessed with your hair. And I love the non-judgmental attitude towards love that she's created.
There's something wrong with your priest.
It's all any of us want, and it's hell when we get there. So no wonder it's something we don't want to do on our own. I was taught if we're born with love, then life is about choosing the right place to put it. People talk about that a lot, it feeling right. When it feels right, it's easy. But I'm not sure that's true. It takes strength to know what's right.
And so the priest is a man of great conviction, but he's conflicted. But I think there's a vulnerability that you bring to a lot of the roles. I mean, you think about Donald in Steel Country, or Hamlet, of course, on stage. I mean, it's that vulnerability and trying to work through in a moment. Is that something that interests you as an actor? Somebody who, doesn't have all the answers and is exposing those flaws and letting, showing them.
Vulnerability to me is the most important thing in any character that I've ever played. I feel like that's the thing that, it's something, personally speaking, that I feel is the most powerful thing that we really own. And I find the fight between what you present and what you feel really fascinating. So yeah, and acting for me is about sort of pretending that you don't know what you're going to say next when you do, because for the most part it's written down, but you have to the skill or the technique or whatever is to sort of try and keep that fresh, and the idea of dawning thought is much more interesting to me to act than reflective thought or something that the idea of discovering something in the moment is very exciting to watch.
Sure. And just back to briefly to the priest in Fleabag, who has become such a romantic hero for many television viewers. I mean, is there some pride there in that you are playing a hetero romantic lead as a gay man? I
feel like it has wider implications. It's something I've long thought. I just think we just need maybe a few more examples of it. But chemistry is chemistry. I've often find it sort of confounding, sometimes insulting, to say that you can't have chemistry with somebody. I've had an enormous amount of chemistry, not just with Phoebe, but with a lot of female actors that I've worked with. And I feel like it has wider implications because we need proof of that. That's all it's about. And that transformation is, I feel very protective of the idea that we shouldn't just all have to play what is our own experience or our own nationality or whatever, and we are in the empathy game. To be able to go, this is what it's like to live someone else is important. And it's just that it's been a little bit of a non-level playing field, and hopefully things like this level that playing field up.
And just finally, just to bring it full circle, because you really surprised me with that thing about Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
You were on the beach in a Spielberg film playing a dead soldier.
Yeah.
But from what I've read, you're currently filming another war film.
Yes.
And this is 1917, Sam Mendes directing, back alongside Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes, yeah.
Your old screen foe,
yes,
Sherlock
my
foe.
pal. Yes, my old Sherlock foe, yeah.
So the First World War drama.
First World War drama, yeah. I think it's, without giving too much away, I think it's going to be, it's a very personal story to Sam. And I think it's going to be very surprising. He's telling this story in a very inventive and beautiful way. And yeah, it's got Colin Firth and Benedict Cumberbatch and Richard Madden and Mark Strong and Danny Mays. It's really a great cast of people. So so busy times.
Andrew, thanks very much
indeed.
indeed.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Andrew Scott. Steel Country, the new film, is in cinemas on Friday, Certificate 15. And of course, you can watch the whole series of Fleabag on the BBC